So before we get started here, it's just me and Aaron talking. As the days get longer, it seems to be harder to get people to commit to being inside on a podcast. So I appreciate it. Aaron's even on vacation. He's in Florida. He's like, let's do it. So it was hard to get other people, which is fine. I figured let's just wrap up the season, and then we can go forward to watching some motocross. So
Yeah.
let's do the best we can, not to pretend like we didn't see round one at Pala.
Right.
Okay, so let's just do an Supercross review. We can basically start anywhere. Um, I'll just start out with Tomac basically come out and on fire, and everyone kind of like, oh shit, like, is this going to be all season? Comes out on fire, A1. I don't think he ever won A1 or something like that. And it was kind of no one knew what to think, and yeah, and then what season for Tomac went. It's kind of a little bit of up and down. It wasn't so dominant as we thought it was going to be, and then it ended very badly. So we'll just kind of go through each rider a little bit. What do you think? Obviously, Tomac's season ended very crazy, but as a season, if you took that part out of it, what do you think of his season before leading up to that?
Yeah, I mean, dude, he had a great season. He looked really good on the bike, and he was very consistent, and and he was winning races right off the bat, which is not like the normal Tomac thing to do. He always in the past he seemed to be slow off the start. Like not doing as good maybe like the first 4 or 5 races, and then he kind of turns it up towards the end. But this season, dude, he was good all season and winning races right off the bat. So he pretty much he had the championship in the bag all the way up to the end, and obviously things happen.
Yeah. I was kind of looking back a little bit on the season with Tomac. This is the season he had the most crashes. He had that one where he was entering that rhythm section with Webb. He had the over under where he kind of just kind of like fell like not even like crazy. He obviously had his Achilles, and then he had another crash. Like I read somewhere that someone, this is all speculation, that as he got older, as he's getting, he had that heat race or practice race at one of New Jersey where he kind of just his hand slipped off the bar too. So
Yeah.
I was reading that as he got older, he was softening his suspension. Obviously, this is all speculation, and then that's why he's crashed more. He's riding just as aggressive, but his suspension's softer. Now, I don't know if that's true, but it does kind of make a little bit of sense. But I don't know. But yeah, so this season was kind of crazy. He had some crazy crashes. I don't know. Are you still? Do you think he comes back still?
I hope that he does, but I don't think he will. Especially, I don't know if you want to talk about the outdoor season, but I think what's happening in the outdoors right now, or at least what we saw around one in Pala, I think that he would have a lot. He'd have a lot to chew if he came back because not only has he got Chase to contend with, it looks like now he'd have Jet Lawrence to contend with now. So I think that's going to make his retirement decision a little bit easier because I don't think he's going to come back unless he knows that he's going to win.
Right.
And having that, like, I'm not really sure, if he knows that he would win after that. So.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, Chase is good, and he's like, he probably thinks, well, if Chase doesn't, dump the front end so much in the season, he'd be up there. Now you got Jet, and then so he's probably like, look, competition's actually getting harder, not easier. So
I gotta say thanks to Kerry for letting me talk about dirt bikes while we're on vacation.
So yeah, I think with Jet, Chase, and some other contenders, he's probably like, it's not getting any easier. It's only going to get harder for me.
Yeah. I think having seen what happened at Paula, Like I think these younger kids moving up, it's only going to get harder.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll
Uh,
see. I mean, I hope they say that the what he suffered, that kind of injury, is guaranteed 4 to 6 months.
yeah.
Just recovery. So we'll see if he gets back on the bike to maybe do some stuff. But I don't know, man. I
Yeah.
think he might be done unless, but you never know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So we'll move on to Chase. Chase, his season was rode fast, qualified fast, did great in the heats, but in the mains, I think in the season he had like 8 fall. I don't know, might have been more than that. He just dumped the front end multiple times. There was a stat during the season he would have been up by like 30 points if he would have finished all those races in first. Now, as the season went on, like
I
half,
think
like
I think he won like 13 out of the 17 fastest qualifying times too.
yeah, something crazy.
Yeah, so he was the fastest qualifier almost every race.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
he's got the speed. He was just having some issues with the bike, I think.
so uh so he was fast and but he came on strong towards the end, which helped him even with Tomac and with Webb going down, he was still riding great. He kind of just figured out that front end. But hey, give him props. He's into the end, wins the championship. Hope he carries that to the outdoors. And yeah,
He knew what he knew the mistakes that he was making. So hopefully he knows what to practice to
yeah,
hopefully try to correct that,
yeah,
so that he doesn't continue to make those same mistakes in the future that he was.
yeah. And then he had we weren't going to try to bring up outdoors, but first moto, he just kind of dumps it right in one of those. So
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. And
and
then
I mean, dude,
kind
we
of
we only had three. We only had two. Well, we finished the season basically with one factory rider left because even there's only Ken and Chase Sexton that were on factory teams left in the 450 class, and obviously Ken like hurt his knee that last race too, so he never even finished. And it kind of
yeah,
sucks for him too because he would have got third in points, So if he would have just scored a couple points, and if he was able to ride a few more laps and get a couple points in that last race, he would have got third place in points, which I kind of feel bad for him about that too.
yeah. It was funny. He I don't know if you heard, he pulled off the track and then his wife goes to Weege, like, can we still ride? And they're like, no, once you're off. Once you pull in the tunnel, it's
Yeah,
over. That was pretty
yeah.
funny.
Once you fall off the track, you can't go back on the track.
Right. Do you remember that last year Webb like hurt his arm on that crash and he was just trying to go over real slow just to get like, I don't know. And they made him pull off because he was like more of a danger to people around him than actual anything.
Yeah, yeah. I can see him getting black flagged, if you're going so
Yeah.
slow. But I mean,
Uh
shit, dude. That's how
yes.
it works. I don't know. It was a crazy season with injuries. I'm curious to see how they approach that for next year. Like if they talk in the off season on whether they want to change the track layouts because of that reason or not. So I'm kind of curious, like what'll pop up in conversation between now and like next January on like track, like on the track layouts to see if they're going to try to actually make things safer. I really don't. I honestly don't know what they're going to do to make them safer
Yeah.
because people were having issues. It wasn't just like the whoops, like if they're going to make the whoop safer, there's people that were getting hurt all over the place. So
Um
I'm kind of curious, like if there'll be any talk on the track layout.
yeah, it'll be interesting. And then Chase, not official, but kind of official. He'll be on the orange bike next year.
Yep.
Curious how that goes with him. AP resigned.
AP will be back
Um,
in KTM. I think Cooper Webb, he's the only kind of wild card. We'll see where he goes to. If he
he
goes,
signed.
is it talks with Star Yamaha?
Yeah, he signed Star.
Oh, he did sign with Star. Okay, shit, I didn't
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
that yet. So yeah,
Well, it's
so
Twitter. Twitter tells all.
right, yeah. I mean, it's not official, but I guess
Yeah,
everybody's saying it's Star. And I think Milton Stewart, he resigned with Husqvarna, so he'll be back with Husky. Adam Smith's will be back on the pro circuit for another
Yeah.
year. So there's a couple of people that are pushing, like Jason Anderson, what's he going to do? I'd have to imagine he's going to keep riding. I think Barsha is locked back in with Gas, so he'll be back with Gas for a couple more years. But, guys like we'll see if Tomac comes back. I don't know if he will or not. Christian Curry, I'm curious what's going to happen to him. I'm wondering if they're going to move RJ up, RJ Hampshire, like if he's going to move up from 250s or not. Because right now they only have one 450 guy that's locked in for Supercross, and that's not so. I don't know.
I think,
there's a lot of people. There's quite a few people.
Are,
I'm not sure where they're going to land because I think Justin Cooper might be on the 450 for Star Racing next year too. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think RJ said he's already re-signed 250 for next season. I think I'm not sure.
And obviously Chase going to KTM. Jet, I'm sure will be on the 450 for at least the next year or two. I'm not sure how long his contract.
Yeah, I think they said
I'd have to imagine
Hunter moves up.
Are they moving Hunter up 2024?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a brothers like on their 450 team. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And I think they said that's the first time since 2004 that Honda has won a Premier Class championship. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
For Honda.
Ricky.
Yeah. But
so
Ken Roxon, he breathed some new life into Suzuki this year. I think I was the only one at the start of the year that said I thought Roxon could win one. And he did let me down, dude. He won one, and it was cool too because it was in Indy, so I got to see it live, which was
awesome. Yeah. So you got some brands coming in. I don't know. So you got Beta coming in. You have Ducati coming in, and you have what's the other one?
Triumph.
I don't know if they're 250 teams, 450 teams, but
I think Triumph said that they're supposed to have a 2024 450 team for Supercross.
Really?
And I'm kind of curious where Ken Roxon will land too, because I don't know how long of a deal he's got with F Motorsports, but I don't know. Like you might see Ken Roxon on one of those new brands coming in because
I could see
Ken already raced the KTM. Like he's familiar with the steel frame bikes. And I know Triumph for sure is basically going to have kind of like the same setup.
I think I could see Anderson going to Triumph because I think Bobby Hewitt is the manager over there, and that's where he used or whoever his old manager at Rocks.
Justin dropped his mic, so type with the problem here.
There we go. So I think Rockstar Husqvarna's old manager is going to be the manager at Triumph. So I could see Anderson going over there.
Yeah.
Be interesting. Speaking of Anderson,
it'll be cool though.
Go ahead.
Opening up some more spots, opening up more factory spots for riders would be good. So I'm curious who else they'll pick up. If they'll pick up somebody like Justin Starling or Kevin Moran. Like those guys finished pretty high up there in the points this year too. So I'm curious if some of these privateer guys might get picked up on factory teams that don't have how Kawasaki, KTM, Honda, they all have basically a channel for bringing amateurs up into the factory and professional level. And all these pro teams that are going to be coming into the sport don't have that right now. So they're going to be picking up probably some more privateer type of riders as opposed to having the factory channel that the amateurs are coming up through. So that'll make things interesting probably for next year if there are a couple of new teams, because some of these privateer guys will probably get a ride.
Yeah. And then I saw where Club MX, I mean, their team could grow. They could get more money and get a bigger rider. I mean, no offense to the team they have. But.
and I know Enzo loves to sign with Club MX, so he's locked in for 2024 with Club MX again. I'm not sure about J Mart or Phil Nicoletti or Garrett Marchbanks, but I know like at least Enzo's locked in 24.
Yeah. So yeah, speaking I want to talk about Anderson. He came in, he won 7 races last year, and this year was just not good. Not good at all. I wonder if he ever had like a preseason injury, if it was him because he was about to have a kid. But it's just like he never really battled for the top, it seemed like.
Yeah, I feel like he was playing by like bad starts and just like man, dude, he was a lot of stupid crashing going on, like with other people, getting tangled up in stuff that like he probably shouldn't have involved himself in. But yeah, I mean, you can't go out and get a 15th place start every race and think that you're going to win right now because there's too many fast people, you know, to come up through the pack. That's why he was, he was working his way up to like sixth or seventh, but like those top 5 guys, I feel like are just so damn fast, like, you can't win a race. Yeah. It's not like the Jeremy McGrath days where like he can get a last place start and he goes to the front, after like 4 or 5 laps.
Right.
Like those days are over because everybody's so evenly matched. But yeah, I mean he did win. He won a Triple Crown race, and
Right.
it goes to show, like he got one good start and he managed to stay up front, But I think that's something that he struggled with all year.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope he's back on the top I guess he didn't really sign with Cowie, wherever he's at next year. So we'll see.
And vice versa, on the other hand, Chase was getting a bunch of shots, he led a ton of laps too.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he could have easily won the championship. Outside of Tomac getting hurt, he was contending to win even without the Tomac injury, and he was just having some issues. He could have won a lot of races this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about Cooper Webb. Strong season. Finished bad. Got a head injury, but man, he was in there. He was riding well. I never even at the beginning of the season, like I thought, nah, it'll just be like last season where he didn't even podium. Came in strong, man. He battled Tomac and Chase.
I mean, dude, he's KTM's premier guy. They expect him to win. So, I think if he would have performed like he did last year, he would have been getting another contract with them. So he rode pretty good. I feel like he was kind of riding for his life a little bit because if he would have done as bad as he did last year, he probably wouldn't have been getting a deal with like Star Yamaha. But luckily for him, he was able to get up there and battle for the lead a bunch. So
yeah,
people are still looking at Cooper as a championship contender. So
yeah. I mean, him on Star will be very interesting. Yeah, it'd be very interesting.
He's been on a Yamaha before. He rode for Yamaha. So
did good on the 250. Didn't do so good on the 450.
Yeah, well, we're good on him, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Talk about Barsha. Barsha was coming on so good before he got hurt. I guess that was New Jersey at the Dragonback. He was winning, won the Mutter. He was podium. Everyone was pumped for him, and then he had a terrible accident. Well, collarbone, or I think it was. But man, he's going to be good next year if he keeps that momentum. I know that's a long time away, but he's going to come back for outdoors. I'll see how he does for outdoors. But I'm pumped for him.
I think like quite a few of the guys are going to be back for Super Motocross. So I think that first race is in July. So I think it sounds like Webb's going to be back for some motocross here pretty soon too. And obviously, I think all those guys are getting Super Motocross stuff. So he'll be back there for that.
So I wonder how this works. So they do Supercross, motocross, and then usually the signing or changing the teams is like September 1st or September. the super motocross starts in September. The 3 races. Um, I'm assuming they'll still ride their old brand. How's that gonna work?
Um, I don't think so. I think as soon as they go in for like the boot camps or whatever they're doing, they'll probably start riding the new bikes. I'm sure as soon as Webb starts training for Supercross, he'll
Yeah,
start riding. Even if I, I'm not sure exactly. It should be like the very last race of the Upper Nationals. That's probably when he's done with KTM. So as soon as that's
yeah,
done, he'll probably be on the Yamaha. And probably same with Sexton too. He'll be on the Honda for the summer. As soon as that season's up, that's it. Yeah. So after Crawfordsville, Indiana, August 26th, Labor Day weekend, I think that's the last race. Um, they'll probably they'll get that KTM. They'll probably start riding that thing, starting to prepare.
yeah. Um, I wonder what kind of deadline Yamaha gives Eli. Like, hey, we need to. Do you think they've already said, hey, we need to know by this time? I wonder if that's out there, or if they said
I
that
feel like
to him.
I don't think that he has like a deadline. I bet he kind of has like by the time September rolls around, like after the outdoor season's over with, I feel like he'll have a pretty good idea like how he's feeling and stuff. Because he should be able to be start training again and riding a bike. I'm thinking after about 6 months, so he should have an idea of what he's planning on doing. But I don't know. I bet, dude, he's won 2 championships. Like in 3 years, and uh, they've got to be. I feel like it's like an open-ended book for him. Like if he wants to come back, obviously they're probably going to do a spot. But we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. AC. Kind of came in with that injury, but he's like, hey, if I get top 10, I'll do great, and he basically got top 10 every time. Rode pretty good, and then kind of consistently got better as the season went on. Got a podium at the end. He was pumped about it. Everyone was pumped about it. Almost got a second podium at the very last race. Got beat out by Justin. God, his name's freaking. What the heck's that dude's last name? I don't know. Justin Hill. Juice. Man, that was getting me. Got beat out by Hill. And but yeah, great season for AC. I think he should, leave Supercross, which I'm probably sure he did, feeling pretty good about how his results were.
Right. Yeah, I think like it was a pretty exciting season to watch, overall. And like it was crazy with the injuries at the end, but that's racing. It's dangerous, and well, I don't know. There's always next year.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of like Tomac and stuff, which I am, I was definitely heartbroken to see him go out like that, especially where he's at because he's already been talking about retirement for so long. It's gonna be sad to kind of not be able to watch him again. But dude, we got some awesome young kids coming up to watch too. So
yeah,
it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be good. It's crazy to think. You look back at the Dungey and Villapoto, their career was done at 27. You kind of thought, all right, Tomac's past his prime, but like you got Tomac, Anderson, Barsha, they're all 30 and they're kind of still hanging around. You're like, our guys going to still hang around more. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're fast as ever. I mean, if it was me personally, shoot, man, if like the factory teams want to keep resigning them and paying them millions of dollars a year to keep racing, I feel like you might as well do it, because you're only going to get a couple more years anyways, as long as you can do it, you might as well go for it, in my opinion, so. I mean, if I was in their shoes, I probably would do the same thing. It would take a lot, I think, for somebody to pass that up, which I'm surprised that, I was surprised that Villapoto left when he did because I think he still had a lot of good time, And obviously Dungey, dude, Dungy came back and raced the outdoor nationals last summer because I think he missed it. I think he realized what he walked away from, and maybe that he walked away too early.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why he came out and raced the outdoor nationals for KTM last summer, and he did pretty damn good, dude. He was like a top 5 guy,
Yeah.
and yeah. So we'll see.
What do you think about AP season?
I think that's, but I think that's why some of these other guys are kind of sticking around a little bit. I mean, as long as you're riding good and you're making money, why wouldn't you? In my opinion.
Well, yeah, going off that, Brayton's about to do World Supercross, and he's 39. He's like,
Yeah.
as long as I'm through those outdoors, man, my riding keeps going.
And I see Chad Reed's riding too, so I wouldn't be surprised if Chad Reed showed up to some of the World Supercross races. Dude, he's in his 40s now.
Yeah.
And Cole Steely, I think Cole Steely is racing some of the World Supercross races. There's a bunch of dudes. I think Cole's one of those guys too. I think he wished that he wouldn't have retired as soon as he did.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think about AP's Supercross season? Yeah, he had that one where he's leading and he crashed, but overall decent. I mean, not bad.
Yeah, I think he's contender to possibly win something. I mean, we'll see what he does in the outdoor season. He did pretty good at Polo the other weekend. But man, it's just Tomac's gone, but we have the Tomac replacement in Jet Lawrence, who is like one of the fastest dudes. He was the fastest guy all day at Pala, between qualifying and both motos. So I mean, these guys, it's got to be a little bit of a mental thing, to see that kid come in there and do that. Especially as much as he wants to win, it's a tough one to think about, like having someone like that there.
Yeah, it is. I think AP will do a little better outdoors than what we saw first round. I think he'll start to get better. I think he'll be on the podium for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think he's like an East Coast dude, so those California tracks, it's a totally different deal than it is, when they start going. The West Coast is such a totally different deal than when they start moving into the Midwest and like the East Coast. Just because those tracks are so hard packed usually, and like when you get into the Midwest and the East Coast, like that, the dirt's totally different. When you start getting into the loamy stuff and like the sand at Redbud, the sand at Southwick, like places like that, it's going to be a totally different ballgame when they get in there.
Yeah.
Especially him, because he grew up in the Midwest and he raced a lot of the Midwest and East Coast tracks growing up. So,
who else on the big bikes are like? I mean, there's tons of privateers that could go down. I'm just trying to think of some big names that we probably should mention.
Colt Nichols, we'll see where he lands.
Yeah, where's he gonna land? Who knows? No ride right now.
Who knows? Yeah, I'm not sure if he's got a ride right now. If he's locked in with anything, but I'm sure he'll probably get something because he's pretty solid. But
yeah,
he might be one of those dudes that get that go over to one of these new companies coming in too. So
yeah, he'll be good. Yeah, I mean, he was off the bike for like a year and a half or something.
Yeah, man, he did. He seemed like he was picking it up there towards the end of the Supercross season too.
But, yeah, we'll go on the 250s. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, granted, everybody picked it up at the end of the season that were outside of the top 10 because there's so many guys that were hurt. Basically all the factory guys were gone. So, all those second tier guys and private tier guys were all having, best finishes there in the last couple of rounds, basically.
Yeah, I mean, he was actually doing decent all season, but Justin Hill was coming on good at the end of the season. I'm curious to see how he goes into the next season.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Josh and Justin Hill get a factory deal with one of these new teams coming in. I'm kind of curious maybe if Dean Wilson does. If Dean decides not to retire. We'll see.
I thought he said that he was retiring. He might not, but I thought he was.
You never know. If he was
Yeah.
offered a factory ride, I feel like he would come back and do that. But we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope Starling gets a ride. I hope. Trying to think who are some other privateers.
I mean, you would have to think of Justin,
Grant.
because Justin Hill was undeniably, he
Yeah.
was up there. He was on the podium. I mean, he had some pretty fast qualifying times in those races too, to where he was right up there too. So he's got the speed. And I think his fitness wasn't quite there at the beginning of the season, but towards the end, like him and his brother were able to do 25 minutes, no questions asked, all the way up to the end. So I think he would be a good addition to any factory team.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to 250s. Jet moves up to 450s. Hunter supposedly is moving to 450s for next year. So we got RJ. Shimoda's going to Honda. Okay, let me think I remember all this. Hang on one second here. So Shimoda goes to Honda next year. Okay. Levi's going to PC. But if we just talk about the season review, I mean, it was the Lawrence brothers just dominating. Yes,
Yeah,
RJ. But then if you kind of break it down, RJ had his best season, even though he did get second. He rode pretty dang well for a second. Dude, trying to think who
yeah.
else.
In my opinion, it was mostly the Lawrence brothers and RJ. And then outside of that, like we had Cameron McAdoo kind of poking his head in there a little bit. We had Kitchen poking his head in there a little bit. We had who's the other Star Racing Yamaha guy that was in there a little bit besides Kitchen.
Deegan surprised us.
Yeah, Deegan.
Jordan Smith. Then Thrasher. Thrasher was riding good. Then
Yeah.
he finally got hurt.
Yeah, Thrasher's the other one I was trying to think of. Yeah, Thrasher was up there a couple times. But yeah, it was pretty much the Lawrence Brothers show, and it seems like it still is as they move to the outdoors. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
I mean, they back it up. I mean, there's definitely like some hype around them, but man, they back it up for sure.
Yeah, they're just good, and they're really smooth. They make a really hard track look really easy, and while everybody else looks like they're struggling. So
Yeah. So yeah, I think great ride for RJ. Austin Fortner, like, how many more rides is PC gonna give this dude? Like, come on, I don't know.
he's still on he's still on pro circuit, and I saw that he is riding again. So he's out there, he's training. So I'm kind of curious when he's gonna make the decision to come back and race in outdoor rounds. We'll see.
Race one, get hurt.
I feel dude, I feel like he really had the last two Supercross seasons, man. He had like the worst luck getting hurt, because he got taken out by Lawrence on the finish line jump 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
That wasn't his fault. And he got the short end of the stick on that deal. And then last year, he just got he got his bar stuck on the side of his teammate's bike, and that completely ruined his season last year. So we'll see what happens.
Well, he was in 250 even when Chase was there. And Zach was there.
He's been around. He's older. How old is Fortner? How old is Fortner? 26, 27 now? Is he 26?
I'd say at least 25.
RJ?
Yeah, RJ's 27.
Okay, I'm thinking he's up there. I think I don't think he's quite RJ's age, but he's close. So
yeah. So hopefully he finally rebounds and rides the whole season. Who else had a decent 250 season? Man, I feel like it's been forever since Supercross already.
Yeah, I mean Enzo Lopes had a pretty good ride. I thought J Mart was going to be better than Enzo, and Enzo kind of came out like gunslinging, dude. So I think he was the best looking guy on the Club MX team, which kind of surprised me a little bit.
Man, I just don't think J Mart's a Supercross guy. I think his career, I mean, he didn't do good at Paula, but his career might be like it's going down.
I mean, he's up there in age too, So I mean,
Yeah.
the injuries and stuff like that might be catching up
Yeah,
with him a little
he's
bit.
actually like 30 or 31.
You got to think, dude. He straight up broke his back, and
Yeah.
wasn't sure if he was gonna walk again, let alone ride a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So like, just to be out there racing professionally is, I feel like, quite an accomplishment. So
Yeah. So yeah, Shimoda was hurt all season. Came in like the last 2 rounds. Rode pretty good. Um, who else rode pretty good? Trying to think. I don't know. I hope RJ does really good next year, and he's like a full-on contender. I think he will be. The Lawrence brothers are gone. I mean, who's going to fill those shoes? I mean, right now, I'm going to
yeah, I
pick
think
RJ as the favorite.
RJ Shimoda, Berkner,
Deegan, maybe.
Thrasher should be he should be healthy. He's having knee surgery and stuff, so he should be good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kitchen on pro circuit. Hopefully that might help things out with him. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I think Deegan.
I'd say right now, Deegan and RJ, if they stay healthy, obviously they're favorites.
Yeah, and then who else is moving around? Ryder D. Francisco, is that it? Yeah, he's going to Gas, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think. Let's see. Someone else is moving around. I don't know. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good season though. Like, it was a lot of fun, playing fantasy and stuff this year. I don't know, it was cool. Like, I feel like almost every race there's something exciting going on.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I wish they didn't do so many damn outdoor stadiums though. That has kind of got me ticked off a little bit, dude. Because like, I was getting kind of burned out on watching like mud races. It's like, it's kind of annoying. I feel like the whole purpose of Supercross is to like have dialed conditions, on a really hard track with a lot of jumps, and like there's a bunch of races, I think 4 of them this year that weren't, 4 out of the 17 basically were mud races that, the guys, they couldn't ride the track to the track's potential because of the conditions, So I wish that they took some of those outdoor races out. Like, obviously you have to leave Daytona because Daytona is such a staple and it's an outdoor race, but like they've added a lot of these outdoor stadiums like Nashville, Seattle, Atlanta Motor Speedway, Daytona, there's Denver, Salt Lake City. There's a bunch of outdoor stadiums they're racing at. So I feel like they've kind of opened the door to like just having some really shitty track conditions. Yeah. And I wish that they wouldn't. I wish they'd do more of the domes, like to make sure that everything was a little bit more consistent, like week to week, and they weren't having to like play around with like running mud tires one week, doing all kinds of crazy stuff because like trying to run Supercross suspension in a mud race, I'm sure completely fucking sucks,
Yeah.
So like when they're in the middle of the day, and the track looks pretty good, but then like for the night show it starts pouring ass rain, like it did at some of them, like that really screws up these guys. Their whole system, because like they practice. Obviously, they're not practicing mudders for Supercross. It's like I don't know. That was my only quarrel. I think about like the season is the outdoor track stuff. I wish they did more domes so that they could control the conditions better.
Yeah,
but,
I didn't like the day races. I just didn't like.
It makes the racing better. And it makes the racing better having a good track because you're not getting a goat path that everybody's following, You can pass and like, when those tracks get muddy, they get like one line. Even when they start to dry out, they're one line, and it's just not very exciting to watch, because like you can't pass and I don't know, just follow the leader basically. Everybody's trying to stay safe, and like nobody's pushing. So
yeah,
that's the only thing I didn't really like about the season. I thought everything else was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And it was it was the same issues too. I think Barsha's hurt because I think it was raining that night, and that's why that Dragon's back was getting so sketchy at that
Yeah,
race where he crashed broke his collarbone. So I think there's a few people that got taken out on that Dragon's back that night when it was raining.
yeah.
So yeah,
Rumor is Kansas City was going to be on the. There's a rumor Kansas City will be on the circuit next year.
well, fuck, I hope not, dude. I think that's an outdoor stadium too, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think that's an outdoor stadium too. So I mean, why the hell would they do that? They need to get these indoor ones, man. Like Minneapolis has an
yeah.
awesome indoor that they just built. Las Vegas has a really nice indoor stadium they just built. There's
L.A.
a bunch of LA's got a really nice indoor stadium they just built. Like, why can't we get these dome stadiums, back, instead of having these outdoor races? I don't understand it.
So the Atlanta one, the Mercedes-Benz Dome, the cost to rent that versus the Speedway, they said is significantly different. So that's why they went to the Speedway.
I don't know. I mean, having a couple speedway races is kind of cool, but I mean, we already got Daytona. I feel like they're just trying to mimic that. Like, they're trying to mimic Daytona, and I don't know. It's like it's cool, but like not really. I wish they just stuck to the domes and just had Daytona like the kind of one-off thing that it's always been.
Yeah.
So,
Why don't we go back to? We don't go back to New Orleans anymore.
yeah,
Dome.
yeah, I know that would be good. That New Orleans would be a good one. There's a bunch of stuff. Maybe one of the Florida, maybe one of the dome stadiums in Florida. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, and I never really thought about like domes versus. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder what the ride. I like to hear what a rider thinks. What they prefer. We need to have Starling back on and see what he likes.
Well, I know Starling likes the indoor stadiums better than the speedway tracks, but
Yeah.
because I think he said that night that he was on with us.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this outdoor 250 season. This outdoor 250 is going to be wild.
Yeah, I think it's whoever is going to be able to go the distance.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be just a Hunter Lawrence show. I mean, yes, he won, but kind of wasn't like that the first moto wasn't like that. I mean, RJ walked away.
Yeah, I don't think Hunter's going to run away with it. But the only thing about Hunter is I feel like he seems like he's very consistent in like his riding and stuff. Like he hasn't been making a bunch of huge mistakes. So hopefully he kind of got that crashing stuff out of the system. But he's always been pretty good at outdoors too. I think the injuries all pretty much came from him trying to learn how to ride the Supercross tracks when they came over. I think that's why he was playing the first couple of years that he was over in the U.S. was because of trying to figure out how to ride the Supercross tracks. But I think the outdoor stuff has always been in his back pocket. So,
Yeah,
we'll see.
You gonna try to go to any outdoors?
I'm gonna be in Colorado the weekend of Redbud, so I'll miss that. But I'll probably go to Crawfordsville because I only live like 45 minutes from there. So,
yeah.
I think that's August 26th. That's my birthday too. I'll be 41. So.
Nice. Yeah, I thought about Crawfordsville. I thought about trying to get out to Lakewood in a couple weeks. Just taking like Spirit Airlines or Frontier to see about whatever flight is. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. I always thought it'd be cool to go to Thunder Valley in Colorado.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that would be a really good track to go to. I think it looks. I like how it's really hilly too, and I think like it'd be a cool one to go as a fan to watch too because you can kind of sit on the hill, and you can pretty much see the entire layout, which I think is really cool.
Do you remember? Man, it's going back a little bit when they did Under the Lights out there. They did a race Under the Lights.
I don't think so. No.
YouTube it, Thunder Valley Under the Lights. It's pretty sick. Like Blake Bagg that's when he was ripping on a PC bike. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this outdoor. Hopefully, there's more contenders in the 450 between just Chase and Jet. Hopefully, Ferrandis kind of gets his cardio up there. I mean, dude's coming back off of head injury.
I think that first race for Ferrandis was just kind of knock the cobwebs off a little bit and see what happens. And dude, he got third place, so like he's right up there, you know.
Yeah.
But as far as pace goes, like he was pretty far off the pace of what Jet and Chase were running.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's just coming back from an injury. I think he doesn't want to crash. Just kind of get a couple of gate drops and knock the cobwebs off a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of get used to stuff.
I
And
think that's
I don't think like Brandis, he's always been kind of better in the Midwest and East Coast too, like than those West Coast tracks. So,
yeah.
uh,
He'll be real good at Southwick, I think.
yeah. But man, dude, Jet Lawrence, that kid, he killed it at Red Bud on a 450 last year. So I don't know, man. That kid. I don't want to like talk. I don't want to like hype him up too much. But holy shit, you know, like I feel like those guys, they got their hands full with him. I think.
Yeah.
Because he looked like he made it look way too easy last weekend to win 2 motos. Yeah.
Do you ever notice though, like, when he like when he was doing Supercross? Now we won't know. I won't know on outdoors. I can't remember last year, but when he's like gets a bad start or something, and he kind of like goes down. It's like he kind of gets a little frantic, and then he kind of maybe goes down again. I'm curious to see if he doesn't get a good start, how it goes.
Yeah, like if he does have a bad race, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't, you know, like Chase is Honda's #1 dude. So I think for Jet to come out, you know, and kind of take over that role a little bit, you know, I don't think that obviously they expect Jet to be good, but to be like the #1 of the team, I don't think that they expected him to do maybe that well, but who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be. I'm looking forward to Hangtown. It's supposed to be hot, 95. We'll see how that goes.
Right. I know, right? Yeah, this weekend's gonna be really hot.
Yeah. What else? I was gonna say. I don't know. Just yeah, outdoors be good, and we'll see what Tomac does. It's like I said, I think retires.
Maybe we can do a end of motocross season recap and then talk about like team changes and stuff because I'm sure towards the end of the motocross season there will be a lot more team changes getting finalized for 2024 Supercross. So
I'll take some notes throughout the season. We'll start start thinking about it.
And I'm really curious to see who comes back and when. You know, when Anderson's gonna be back, when Webb's gonna be back. You know, all these guys, Christian Craig. You know, there's a bunch of them there. I'm kind of wondering if they'll pop back in there.
Does AP podium in outdoors? Not AP, AC, AC.
I think AP will before AC will. I think Plessinger has a better chance than AC right now. I think Adam's like really a fast dude, but like I don't know. I think he's got some stuff going on with that hand. You know, like he said that. You know, when he starts, when things start to get a little strenuous, you know, if he gets a little arm pump, like his arm and his hand go numb. So, and you know, if you can't feel what you're holding on to, you know, it's a pretty big problem. And that's when he said he kind of has to like lay off a little bit because you know, like you don't want to pull a Tomac and blow your hand off, you know, and pull one of those moves, you know.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Thanks for doing this on vacation. I appreciate it. And
yeah, no worries.
We'll be in touch. I'm sure I'll catch up to you, ride mountain bikes or something with you.
I'm gonna go back inside and finish our game that we started.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later. Enjoy your vacation.
Yes, you do, bud.
That's it.